anytime I scroll through my socials, I see things like that. It just gives me joy that okay, see how far I have grown. More like documenting my process.
When you start, right, there are certain things that you see designers, some other designers do, and when you just look at it, you see it's difficult. But at that level, the level of that designer, the designer that did that stuff that looks really beautiful, at that designer's level, that stuff was easy. But before it got to that level, it was hard. But do we now say because before it got there, it was hard, that stuff is hard?
I saw the challenge. HTML, CSS, I don't pull off everything. Reached out to one of the mentors there. I've submitted, okay, move me to stage 2. They're asking, where's your design file? I didn't know there was anything called, like, I didn't know you're supposed to even have a design before production or before coding.
You need to, once you know this is where I'm at, you can now figure out and say, okay, this is what I now need to do.
If you cannot communicate, this is where you are, they won't see it further.
Every time we get to discuss about design, right, I get to learn one or two things when I speak with this gentleman. His name is Godson. He's a product designer. And when we get into discussions about the intricacies and what the beauty of product design, I get to think more even before asking people that, oh, let's design this stuff, let's work on this stuff, let's build this product, And it's great to have you in this podcast. Thank you, Godson, for honoring this invitation.
Thank you.
All right. So just a quick one. Can you just introduce yourself to our guest?
All right. I'm Godson Chibuikem Jr. by name, and like you said, I'm a product designer.
All right. So let's get into it. We need to just quickly debunk some things about product design because there's a lot of things flying around. And the essence of this podcast is to demystify tech and creativity for Africans, right? And in doing that, we need to debunk certain myths around product design. So there's first one that says designers just make things pretty. What do you think about that?
That is wrong, like terribly wrong.
Okay.
At the initial stage, like starting off as a designer, it's good to think that way.
Okay.
But growing, you tend to understand that okay, this design goes beyond your screen, goes beyond what you like or what you don't like.
Okay.
So, and it really, why I said is wrong or terrible is judging off a good design based off of aesthetics. Yeah. There are other factors you can like put into consideration or factor in when you're deciding if a design is good or not.
Okay.
Aesthetics is just one of.
Okay. It's just like saying that it can be beautiful, nice, but it's not just all about it looking very nice and pretty. Design goes beyond just making things pretty, right?
Absolutely.
The engine, if we're to do the illustration with a car, it's not just about how beautiful a car is, right? You're talking about the engine, how well it's able to.
For some cases, right, the visuals or the aesthetics is the first thing that catches the user's attention. So you need that visual to put them in.
Yeah.
While for some, it is the functionality that is the first thing that pulls users in. Using cars example, one of the first things that drives you to look at a car is the design of the car. Whether the brake is functional, you don't know, but the car is just nice.
It looks good.
Makes you want to go further and
explore. Right?
While for some it is not, it is beyond the design. Like you won't even care about design. Another example is I would say fintech, banking apps, conventional banking apps, GT apps, the access, blah, blah. Most people don't care about the design as long as it's working.
Yeah. But you've seen people, I think there was that time that GT Bank had issues with their app, and people were like, oh, the design is.
That decision is coming from it's the money, people's investment in that product that makes them want to. I don't even worry about the design. Let me have.
I want to see my money. Right, great. Okay, so let's debunk another one that says, designers work in isolation. What do you think about that?
That's a pitfall you need to avoid.
Okay, so there's a possibility of that happening.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you avoid that?
Having access to community, access to mentors, mentors reach out to people who you know you can get either above you, below you, or within your level, people you can get genuine feedback from. People who can point to, people who can see your design beyond you. Most times we have our personal biases where we come up with designs. So have people around you who would, you might choose a particular route because you like that pattern when it comes to design. But someone who will see it outside your bias, like, okay, this is the problem you're trying to solve. Okay, let me see the solution you came up with. Does it really solve that problem? Or you're solving the problem how you want it? That's all.
Right.
We need to avoid that.
Okay. So there's that possibility, right,
Yes.
of working in isolation. But in order to fix that, you have to be around mentors, possible mentors. You have to,
Friends,
community, Yeah, I think it even works.
And research too.
Research, yes. Okay, good. I think it also, I think for techies, right, they get to, there's a possibility of this happening, right, working in isolation,
Yes,
because some people just like their space and just want to do their stuff alone.
They become a badge from a self-taught. I'm self-taught, I'm self-this, I'm self-that. I don't know.
Yeah, I get. I think I think during COVID, one of the things that accelerated my growth, right, was that I was really passionate about. I think that was when I was even putting a lot of energy in the data science space. And each time I was working on different visuals, data and Power BI visuals, and each time I work on something, I share it with my friends, right? The ones that are in that space and the ones that are not in that space, right? Yeah. So I get technical feedbacks and I also get feedbacks that are not technical, right? Because you are building stuff not just for people. What I was working on then was not just for people who were technical, was also for people who were going to feed off of that information that I'm trying to share.
As you grow, right, or as you grow, as the product grows, you tend to filter where you get feedback from. Right. So initially, it's okay. You reach out to direct consumers, you get feedback from them, know where the actual pain point is, and try to solve or roll it out as updates. But as time goes on, right, you're not just centered around your users, but also trying to meet a business need for your stakeholders.
Yeah, I get that.
So you get to the point where it is who sponsors that product or who pays for that. The product has to align with that, and not just for the users.
Yeah,
so sometimes you see products where they roll out updates or features where the users never requested for, or the users don't know they want, or the users don't need, but because they need to fetch money for the owners.
Okay.
So you need to find a way to put in those factors.
Would I call that misplaced priority?
Nope.
It's not misplaced priority.
Nope. It's just business. If you understand the business side of it,
it's not misplaced priority.
No, it's not.
The customers don't need it, yet I'm designing it.
It's not that the customers don't. You've seen features where you don't know you didn't until it was rolled out.
Oh, okay. I get your point.
But it was rolled out because in the long run, it's going to fetch money for.
Okay.
Or most of the decisions that was going to be taken will be centered around the business side.
Okay.
Yes, they'll cater to your need, but does it either immediately or in the long run, does it put money in my
account?
Not does it pay the product owners?
I get your point.
So if it does not, if they don't get profit, they discontinue the product.
Yeah. I think when I was watching the story of Spotify, Yeah, I get the point you're trying to make. You know how that at that point when they were building Spotify, right? Initially, they wanted to make the product free. You know, free for all. I think at that point they were having these guys were having issues then. What's the name? Pirate Bay was having issue, right? So they wanted to come into the market, disrupt the entire space, and you know they wanted the product to be free. And you know investors were coming in and they needed money too, right? And what was promised to the CTO at that point was that, oh yeah, as you're coming, we're trying to build something that's going to be free for all. And at some point, the CEO and the other stakeholders were like, man, this stuff cannot be free because there are certain challenges that we're going to face, right, as we go forward. You know, and I saw how they were able to come to they started building a feature that was also based off of the user um, the way the user used the product, right? They were able to, you know, like recommendations, right? They were able to see, oh, this is the way people from user patterns, right? How they were using the product and all of that, and they were able to give the users features that they didn't necessarily ask for, but it was a nice to have.
Sometimes users will not tell you, okay, can you work on this or can you do that?
Yeah.
It's based off the data you have from them using that product.
Yeah.
That you get to, okay, we're understanding or from the analysis we're looking at, we understand, okay, they tend to face XYZ challenges
Yeah.
in this area. Okay, let's put that down. Or probably let's hold few interviews with them. Let's ask them to just go through the product, do what you do every day, and they will document the process. We can then see the, some of the pain points without them even realizing it.
Yeah.
With just one or two frustrations, you just document it and you can see how that helps. Or you can see opportunities there.
Yeah.
Business side, um, market side.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Okay. I think we have two more to debunk, then we
Okay.
go into other part of the conversation. Um, this one is funny, but I think this one naturally scares some people out, right?
Okay.
You need a formal degree, a formal design degree to be a professional designer.
Do you need a formal design degree
Yeah,
to be a professional designer?
yeah.
How many institutions in Nigeria offers formal like how many?
I don't,
But that's really wrong. You just need um, you need basics, which is put in the work,
okay.
put in the works, learn, grow, ask questions, join communities, and all that. But there are certain stages or rules
You
where
get to.
you get to, you want to get the educational part of it. Either could be psychology, could be the it could be international courses,
Okay.
where or institutions where they offer these courses.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm. I
that
get.
that will help you a lot to your profession.
Okay.
But to say you need that before you start, if that is the case, we've seen a lot of people who had zero tech background
Mhm.
in schools
Yeah.
switched into tech from agriculture, from engineering, from other science fields, from art. We've seen them switch into design
Yeah.
side. I've seen them switch into tech side.
Doing
They're
well,
killing
right?
it. Yeah.
So the certificate doesn't having a certificate or um, getting into the space, right? Is not necessary or is not a must have
No,
that
no, it's not.
without
No,
having this you can move forward,
it's not
right?
just that.
To tell a typical story was this. I have a friend that studied mathematics, right? He currently works with a design company in Spain, you know. And I think one of the things that made us stand out was not that because what's the correlation? There might be, right, with mathematics and product design. They might be at some point, right? When you think about, I don't know, right? But there might be definitely. Everything connects to one another one way or the
When
other.
you're probably trying to put off your grid systems and all that.
Exactly. So, you know, I can remember one time like that while she was serving, and you know, she put up her portfolio on LinkedIn, and she was like, "Oh yeah, she's open for a job, right?" It's not like she had a a certificate. What she just had was a portfolio. She had worked on several stuffs and she just put it out. And in like in less than 5 hours, someone reached out to her and said, okay, you know what, come to my office in Lagos. And I think that week she got the job. She didn't have a certificate, right? So for people who think that you have to have a professional degree, right? What makes people stand out, especially with design,
It just
is
gives you a good start.
yeah,
If you have
a
a degree,
certificate, a degree.
it gives you a good start. For
Okay.
those who in computer science or those in engineering, it just makes you understand, or it gives you that edge of it's easy for you to navigate your
Go
way,
way around it.
like make proper research in certain areas and all that. But
Okay.
it's not.
So let's get to you now, right? Let's talk about your design journey. When did you start? How did you start? And how's it been?
Uh, okay. When I started
I don't
design,
even think I've ever asked this question.
when I started design, it's funny because I didn't start my journey to design has not been it's not the conventional way,
Mhm.
uh, where you wake up one morning and I want to be a designer and all that. It's just like many designers we have in Nigeria, most of them transitioned from either being a graphic designer to product design. Okay, mine came in from front end development.
Hmm?
From being a front end developer,
Yeah, front-end developer.
I started off as front end.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
I started off doing my 4 month IT.
Wow.
That was where I started. Played around WordPress, played around um, HTML, CSS,
Mm.
JavaScript, moved to Bootstrap and all that. I was doing all of that before okay, what really made me switch to design was I noticed I was focused more on how the site or how the product
Look.
looked and feel
Hmm.
than actually trying to pull off some PHP script and all that and SQL and all that. So I was majorly on my CSS.
Hmm.
Like my browser history, going do research shows, okay, how do I make this element do this? Okay, I'm thinking of this. How or I see a site out there. How can I achieve this? Inspect elements, okay, study their CSS script and all. How okay, I love this guy's color combination. I love how this page is being structured. Flexbox, um, the, what's the other one? Oh, I forgot to. I forgot. But I knew
Okay.
okay when Flexbox came into the game, like I was no, I don't need to use all those column grids. Flexbox can just move elements for me and then give me a good layout. So from there, I think it was I've forgotten which year exactly, but HNG came into the picture.
Okay.
Yeah, Marquesans, the hotels NG
Yeah.
internship. Yeah. I started off. That was the first time I heard of something called Figma.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
it told us okay, challenge one. I think it's HND 3.0 or 4.0. One of them. It told us um, challenge one is to design a landing page with a form
Okay.
and then implement it. I saw the challenge. Like, okay, HTML, CSS, pepper, I don't pull off everything. Okay, I just want to do research. Okay, how do I put I think the timer is supposed to be there too. Like, okay, how to put a timer or time, like to display current time. I just went and put it off, copy, paste the code, reached out to one of the mentors there. I've submitted, okay, move me to stage 2. And they're asking, where's your design file? I didn't know there was anything called like I didn't know you're supposed to even have a design before production or before coding. I
Hmm.
didn't know any of mine is I started off as okay, there's a problem. This is how we're going about it. HTML, CSS,
Good.
pull it off. But when I reached out like design file, I went to see other people's work. Like it is a channel where people submit. I went to study it, and I was saying Figma link, Figma link. I was saying links link. I was putting I saw Figma. Okay. What helped me was I have a good understanding of Photoshop. So I
Okay.
saw some of the tools there, like, okay, this looks like Photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
but a streamlined version of it. I'm seeing my text tool, I'm seeing shape, I'm seeing move, I'm seeing the a few alignments and all that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was what helped me. So I just carry rectangle,
Put it there.
draw rectangle, put it like what I had on my
You're just
site.
playing around with everything.
Not playing around. What I
Okay.
had coded,
Okay.
I was just looking at it.
And fixing it back on the design file.
Just okay. This is the font I used. This is the font size. Put it there. This is the color I used. Okay. This color picker. Screenshot my site. Put it on Figma. Use color picker too.
Okay.
Or either I'll go to my CSS and just pick the color code and I can drop it on Figma.
Okay.
I just do all of that, and then that was when I knew, wow. Okay, see, there's a tool called
You found a new love.
So I was now from there just playing around it. I think I stopped at stage 4.
Okay.
I couldn't continue because of how.
You dropped out.
Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't continue. It was too time demanding.
Oh, okay. Okay.
At some point, Saturdays, Sundays, they were still dropping a few things. I just couldn't keep up. So, and I was still in school back there.
Okay, but it was instrumental to your growth.
It was. And basically, that was how I started to design.
Wow.
And I was doing more of all these daily UI challenge, pop-up, don't go dribble, see the design. Those ones where you see mobile app, e-commerce store, you see the shoe hanging.
Yeah. I get that.
I was just doing it, but it was one of my friends that told me. And then, okay, when I was starting all of those things, doing all those challenges and all, I started off saying, okay, I want to build my design around a certain brand or around certain patterns. And my consistent colors then were black and yellow. Any design I see,
black and yellow.
Black. It has
Black
to
and
be
yellow,
black.
black and yellow, black and
That
yellow.
was what my friend was using to drag me back then. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Right.
So back then, all those it's still there. I didn't want to take it down. Like I know sometimes if I go through it and see them, I just laugh. Sometimes I want to withdraw. But I intentionally left it there so that anytime I scroll through my socials, I see things like that. It just gives me joy that okay, see how far I have grown.
Yeah.
More like documenting my process, my growth. That's why it's there. So my friend, another eye opener where I said, okay, it's not good to work in isolation. It was my friend that brought in the idea of UX to me, and he was telling me, I've forgotten which design I did, but I can remember exactly the words he said. He sent me a voice note. He told me, imagine you open Jumia and a yellow color food there, you go buy like the entire design, just pure yellow and black. You no go venture, you no go want buy anything. So that was where I started
thinking about UX.
Yeah, so from time to time, like okay, I'll do design, I'll send it to him. Okay, what do you think? I'll still find a way to put
that yellow there. Is like you can't take this away from me.
So just black and yellow. So and then that was how we grew to understand that okay, there are a lot of resources online.
Yeah.
A lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of articles out there, a lot of free courses out there. Leverage them.
Okay. So interesting. This is really interesting. Really interesting.
Well, okay, so back to one of those your meeting listed where they said you need to have a coding background. As a designer, it is not compulsory, but it's a plus, it's a bonus for you if you have knowledge of it. It will help you. Developers will want to work more with you because
And you not design what developers cannot.
no,
You're not.
even if you're doing all of those that will
Okay.
stress them, from you're dealing with your developers experience, developers knowledge, and okay, from your grid system, how you work, how you work, handle your grid. I have I have a friend who doesn't use grid.
Hmm.
And his design will come out sweet, but it's difficult for developers to
Work with him.
not to work with, like
Work with
to
his design.
yes, like they have to, they are subject to okay, just get a visual representation of what this means. Okay, this is how you structure this. Okay, I'm trying to okay, I'll use my knowledge of development to bring that to life. But if you have from your the way you lay out the way you name your layers, how you structure, how you document your design, like developers who really want to work with you.
Yeah. You just make life easy for them.
Because you also understand how to implement.
Yeah.
Even if you like you're not really you're not an expert at it, but you know how they think, you know how they execute, bringing the experience to
I think I get that. I get
it's
that.
really helpful.
Yeah, yeah. There was something you said I really wanted to draw to expand on, right? Where you spoke
Sorry,
about.
let me just add this.
Okay.
When it comes to decision making, right,
Okay.
there are a lot of factors when you making decision, like especially when it comes to the timeline of a particular product. This will take XYZ to implement.
Okay.
That will also factor into your decision as a designer.
Okay.
This product needs to go live in 6 months, and you're building some crazy stuff that will take time for the developers to implement. So if you have that idea of how they go about their flow, that will help you make certain decisions that is developers friendly.
Okay. So there are two things I want us to expand on, right? The first one is I wanted to contribute to it, which is when you're speaking about the intensity that came from HNG, how that we're just giving tasks back to back. You're doing this design challenge or design maybe I think during COVID a lot of people did that thing, 50 days of design, right? Doing today, tomorrow. They just had this stuff that they were doing daily, 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 and these things contributed to people's success.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's something a lot of people are relaxed on it right now. I think maybe I've not seen, but there was a time that this was the thing, right? People were doing, and I think it was just a way to keep themselves accountable, right? And allow people also watch them grow, right? So I'm putting my stuff out there. Okay, I'm doing 50 days of design, right? And as I'm doing this thing, every single day I'm showing up, right? Day one, I'm learning design systems, I'm learning keyframes and all of that. Day two, I'm learning colors. Day three, I'm learning this. Day four, I'm learning this, right? As they do that, right, I think it makes, this is not just design now, right? In whatever area of tech or creativity, as you do that, it just helps you to keep.
One for front end and back end.
You get
free code camp and all they do all those.
true. So it just helps them to keep themselves accountable and I think grow faster and stick to your goals, right? So I think it's something that might probably has I think it had reduced to some point, but people can if you are listening to this, right, and you feel like you are maybe set back, right, with your design journey, right? One of the things you can do, don't think about how that people will think that I'm trying to show up, man. People can think whatever they think, right? What matters to me is that I am growing. You want to say something?
Starting out,
Okay.
most people don't have that mentality of I'm showing or I'm documenting my growth process. A lot of people do not have that. Some it is I never even shared 90% of my design work, like growing up. Or when I'm still like my early stage. I never share it. It never goes beyond my screen or my PC or that of my friend. It never I had that I had that
Discipline.
no. Okay, I would say perfectionist mentality where
You don't want it to go
this is
out
the best
onto
I
this.
can do, but it is not good enough to fly.
Mm.
And what happens when professionals see this work? They are going to so bash, criticize, and
So
I
were you
don't.
scared of that?
There's that part. There's the part where, okay, I'm still learning.
Okay.
I have not grown yet.
Okay.
So there's no point making noise. Let me just put my head down and keep learning.
Okay. And it worked for you.
Doesn't mean it's the right thing.
Okay. But it worked for you. Or do you think if you had done it differently, it would have worked better?
Okay. You need to fuse these things together.
Okay.
Okay, let me give you an instance. If this is your level of ability, like this is your skill level, you
Okay.
can deliver at this level, but you communicate at this level.
Okay.
How do you think people perceive your skills?
This level that you communicated. Yeah.
So if you cannot share,
Okay.
express, communicate, this is where you are, they won't see you further.
Okay. So you are saying communication. So yeah. So what if it's vice versa, right? You are delivering on this level, but you are communicating on this level.
I said you need to fuse them. Like you need to find that balance.
Okay.
Okay. You're pushing out your progress
Mm-hmm.
as a way of documenting how far you've grown, or
Definitely.
showing the world, okay, let me document my process, my growth process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just starting out. This is what I have on ground.
Mm-hmm.
Your feedbacks,
Mm-hmm.
like, feel free, give me feedback,
Yeah.
critique, and do all of that. And then, okay, keep growing. It's easy for people to track your progress when they go through your profile.
Yeah.
Unlike if you're of the idea of keep your head low,
Until
keep
it comes
learning.
down
It is only people who are close to you will know.
how far you've come.
Yes.
All right.
Well, usually the opportunities that will come your way, especially in the talk world, will not come from there.
So where will it come from?
People who see what you do.
Okay. So our advice
So,
is
but
this.
it's good have both of them.
Okay.
Make noise, do whatever you do.
Okay.
Make noise, but still build. Let the noise you make, let it
match your
what
skills.
yes.
Right. Because we've seen a lot of people that are making a lot of noise and their skills doesn't match,
Doesn't
doesn't
match.
come close, right? And we've seen a lot of people that their skill is high, but their
nobody knows about
communication.
them. Not really communication, nobody knows about them.
Nobody knows
Aside
about
their immediate circle.
All right. Interesting. I can remember we had a conversation one time. And I was pondering on this yesterday, and I said, okay, let's see how this conversation goes, right? I'm of the opinion, right? Still talking about design and every other part of tech, right? I'm of the opinion that things aren't as difficult as they look, right?
Things are not as difficult as they look.
Yes, things are not okay. Life is not difficult. Life is easy. Things are easy if you see it as such, and it will be easy.
Okay.
Yes. Do you agree?
To some degree, yeah.
Okay. Because I've heard people say things are difficult. I'm not trying to say that they are not level of difficulty, right? So I thought of this yesterday, and I said, okay, for example, you have a footballer, right? When a footballer starts learning how to play football, right? At the beginning, at the first stage, right, is learning how to raise ball, how to dribble, and all of that. Some things are quite difficult, right? It gets to a point, right, to maybe even to do a bicycle kick, right, can be hard. You might have tried it about 10 times, doesn't get it right. But as the person keeps trying it, right, it becomes easier, right? But somebody else will look at it and say it's difficult, it's hard. Or let me not use basketball. Let me not use football, right?
Okay,
so let me use
that analogy you gave us.
okay, let me use for product design, right?
Okay.
When you start, right, there are certain things that you see designers, some other designers do, and when you just look at it, you see it's difficult. But at that level, the level of that designer, the designer that did that stuff that looks really beautiful, right? At that designer's level, that stuff was easy. But before it got to that level, it was hard. But should we now say because before it got there, it was hard, that stuff is hard?
Okay. It seems to be a disconnect know, the notion or the arguments you are for and the examples you're for.
Okay.
Okay, let me break them and then see if I got it well.
Okay.
Designer comes up with something
Okay.
and it seems easy.
Mm-hmm.
But someone looking at it will see that being difficult.
Another designer will look at it and say it's hard.
Okay.
Is that being hard in itself, or is easy?
Yes, it is hard. But the word hard, I wouldn't want to use the word hard.
Okay.
Because of the amount of work that is being put into making that thing good.
Okay.
The amount of work, okay, bringing it down now to design, from your research,
Mm-hmm.
your market research, user research, to like there are a lot of factors or elements that factors into your decision making
Mm-hmm.
for you to come up with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't come easy.
Okay. Okay. It didn't come easy.
Nothing
Yes.
good comes easy,
Nothing good comes easy.
especially in the world of design. A good design has passed through. There are a lot of, I don't want to even go through the iteration phases where, okay, you do this, it doesn't work, you go back, you spend sometimes sleepless nights trying to come up, and then you just do something. It is another person who will see that. Is it not just to do X, Y, is it not just to move this pixel here, is it not just to do this? But you who made that possible, you know how long it took you
Took you to do it.
to implement that.
So are we saying things are hard?
Again, I don't like the word like things are. Okay, it's good to acknowledge that this is difficult, but have that mentality of pushing through.
Okay. Because I've seen a
Like,
lot of people
you
want to
know,
get into tech.
this is hard on its own, but you're going to see it through.
Okay. So the reason why I said that is that I've seen a lot of people run away from tech because they are looking for what is easy. And because some people have said, oh, which one is not as hard as you get. I want to, people just come and say, okay, I want to get into tech. Which one is not hard like that? Like if I can, it's easy, and all of that. And I tell people that nothing in life is hard. It's how you see it, right? Product design is not hard. There has to be work that is put in, right? You put in a lot of work into it, but does not necessarily make that thing hard, because I've seen a lot of people run away from several spaces because it has been painted by several people that, oh, this thing is hard though, it's very hard, and people run away from it, right? People don't like the sense of difficulty. I'm not saying difficulty is not good, but at the sense of difficulty, some people just run away. So I just feel like making it look like it's easy. You know how they say that, oh, when a teacher teaches you, right, the success of a student is dependent on the kind of teacher that teaches that subject.
Not entirely, but to some degree.
But it contributes,
yes.
right? The way the teacher makes you to see or refines your perspective about that subject can determine your success.
Yes.
You get. So that's the point of view I'm coming from when I say, okay, things are not hard, things are easy, right? To lure, not let me not bust that.
Okay, it all boils down to how far you're willing to go.
Okay.
Consistently.
Okay.
Like how far. If you cannot go far, it will be hard. But if you can keep going,
it's going to be easy. Okay. Things are easy.
I can't go far beyond this.
Okay.
I'll see it as being hard. But someone who went beyond that, I will see that for that person as it's easy for him.
Okay. All right. So let me ask this question, right?
Yeah.
What are the key things that helps a designer to stand out, in your view?
To help designers stand out, or
what are the key things that you think helps designer to stand out in their design journey as they, meet with recruiting teams, or as they meet with even a design team? So, for example, a designer begins to work with maybe a startup or an international company, right? What makes that designer stand out?
There are different factors, depends on the scenario.
Okay. Can you give it?
I'm trying to, okay, if it's the interview stage, it's a job application stage.
Okay.
Yeah, first off, your portfolio has to stand up, has to stand out.
Okay.
And for that, I recommend every designer should have two portfolios.
You recommend every designer should have
Two.
two portfolios. Why?
Yes. One should have a detailed documentation of your problem solving approach.
Okay.
Like anyone going through like a study knows that. Okay, this guy put in so much thought. He documented the process
Okay.
to went to come in building this solution. And then the your other portfolio will most likely have a lot of visuals, more like for presentation.
This guy knows he has the eye for design.
Not more like for presentation, where at that point, okay, your portfolio has scale to come present,
Okay.
probably during interview.
Okay.
Yeah, where your second portfolio is what you use. You can use Figma, you can use Framer, you can use Webflow, whatever, however you want to do that. But have that little or no text, more visuals, just little text.
Okay.
You do most of the talking.
Okay.
But your the first one has more.
Your process, how you
And
work.
again, for the portfolio, which is the first one, a lot of people have. One problem is if I open your portfolio, the moment I see that it's difficult for me to determine what kind of designer you are, I'm out.
I don't
At
get
first
that.
glance.
I don't get that.
Okay, open your portfolio. I'm trying to figure out, okay, are you a product designer? Are you a motion designer? Are you all those?
Okay.
It's not clear. I can't see and know that, okay, this guy is a product designer. I have other applications to go through.
Okay. Okay. So you have to be clear.
I might be patient enough to, okay, it's not clearly stated. Let me go through the work he has done. I'm seeing work that has to do with graphics. I'm seeing work that has to do with UI UX. I'm seeing work that has to do with illustration. I can't figure out which one you are. So I'll just.
Hmm. 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 Okay. 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 So that's for applications, right?
Yeah.
So how about for working with a team?
To understand the team culture, their approach towards how they go about building their product.
Okay. Okay. Let me say this, right? I know this would help a lot of people. This will help a lot of people. Some designers don't talk when they're having maybe like stakeholders meeting, right? So they just come in and say, "Oh, this is what you should design," right? Does a designer have the right to say, "Oh, I don't think this is necessary," or the moment you say, "Oh, design this part," the designer has to just pick it, okay, this part, this is what you need, and the person just start designing it.
Okay. Okay, let me see. From the dawn of time,
Okay.
from the dawn of digital products,
Okay.
the designers never had a say.
Okay. So are we saying justice for designers?
We're just seeing
Okay.
a wave now where, okay, companies are now bringing in designers into decision making. If you go check most of the startups or most of the companies out there, you will not see a designer on their board.
So justice for designers, are we?
It's not about
Justice
justice
for
for
designers. Justice for designers.
I think it's I've forgotten which company. The only company that I know of that has a designer on their board should be Airbnb.
Okay. Mm.
Yes. Is it Airbnb or Spotify? Is it Airbnb? I'll probably go for a check, but I think it's Airbnb.
Okay, either Airbnb or Spotify. One
No,
of them.
no. It's Airbnb.
Okay.
It's Airbnb.
Okay.
I just remember.
All right.
The other ones, it is either coming from engineering background, this one coming from product manager background, this one coming from another leadership or another technical background. but you hardly or never see a designer there. That is because most of the products started off as okay, let's solve the problem. Let it be functional. Then as time it's now that time has changed that okay, the competition is high. Okay, it needs to be let's bring in design there. We need to reach out not just to the pockets of the customers, but also to the emotions of our users.
So are we saying that? So how can designers now air their views? Because some designers are scared that I don't want to offend the CEO, right? This is what the CEO wants, right? This is what the board wants. This is what they want, right? So I have to design.
Again, that you need to understand the work culture there.
Okay.
Understand, is it a flat hierarchy? Like when it comes to hierarchy, is it flat communication, or there are lines of there are direct managers, before decisions.
I get. Okay.
It's easy at the startup level.
Okay, to communicate your views.
Yes, and you do that with research. The whole design sprint or the design thinking phase, blah blah blah. All ideas are welcome.
Okay.
You as designer, you have to go put in extra work. Do research, come and okay, this idea cannot fly at the early stage.
Okay.
We can put this one at the probably later in the future we'll roll out this feature. This will fly, this solves the problem, okay, this meets the user's need. Okay, this meets the business need also. But you need to do that with data backing you up.
Okay. So for you to be able to, I think it even work for you to make
and
an
again,
argument.
Leaving the startup settings, you go to the big tech companies where there are a lot of managers. Most times, designers or even developers don't suggest features. Because it will still come back with some serious workload on you. Say, for example, you see a feature, you see an opportunity, you suggest the feature to your project manager. Payment, say, okay, I'll get back to you. Which is out to product owner. Okay. Program say, okay, we need to hold meeting, bring QA lead on top, bring front end lead on engineering lead on top, you bring head of managers or you bring all of this. Do so that okay, it will look like it's them that have the idea when it's time for promotion. They'll round it up. At the end of the day, okay, this one will say, okay, look at the current trend. Okay, how can we put AI into it? How can we do this? Just so we can still look at the competition, look at business side. How can we, before it will circle back and come back and meet that developer? The work that come back.
Yeah.
Can be overwhelming.
Yeah, I get that.
And at the end of the day, you see this one gets promotion based off your initial idea. This one gets a raise, this one gets bonus, this one gets, and you're there. So most times it just, yeah.
All right. Okay. So as we round up, right? What's that moment that in your design journey that you never wanted to repeat yourself? Like, man, this shit can never happen again.
Okay. There are a lot of them, but I
Oh,
would
wow.
say the one I'll pick off, I would say it is not acknowledging how far I have grown or how far I've moved.
Can you explain that?
Okay. There are times when I'll like build products or do designs and all that. I'll still tell myself, this is not good. It cannot be compared to
It was
to the people they make noise. That was because it was all in my head. Until one of my friends came out and said, he got Malula. You sabi this design work.
hmm, you need somebody to blow your head.
That was everything this one they talk. Not until when I started going out, I started seeing other people's work.
Hmm.
Even some of the designers that I was kind of looking up to, I was saying, this guy really good, this guy. I saw some of their work. Like, actually, I sabi this thing. It's just that he has better opportunity, or he has the ability to grab better opportunities than I.
Or do you think that must have probably affected the kind of opportunities that's come your way? I think that would have
Maybe,
affected it.
maybe. I was like, mm, mm, my personality,
Okay, interesting.
it didn't really make me, that fear didn't make me take up more challenging opportunities or like just throw myself out there.
Mm. I believe that's different now.
Yes, that is different. Sometimes it cripples in, sometimes I just, what's the worst that can happen?
Send. Upload. Right? Okay, good. I believe.
And also acknowledging that I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Go back and okay, I see how I used to do this. So thank God for new light, and I have better understanding or better approach or effective ways of doing that. I can go back listen to this podcast again. Go back. I would
Should
have
have
said
said
this
this.
better. I would have
Yeah.
said this better. I would have said or I forgot saying another.
But it's gone out, right? You can't do anything about it. Maybe you put what you
No,
should have said in the comment
okay,
section.
good. Ah,
But yeah, I get you, right? I get you. And even for me, right,
and
I'm
also
like,
learn how
no
to
do it for yourself.
how to how to better express your thoughts. That is one area I think I'm really learning.
Okay.
Like I'll do something like really crazy. Then how do I want to do this?
Mm.
And then when I'm explaining to someone or when I'm walking someone through, I, I expect them to figure it out. And most cases, like they actually figure it out, but I can't really walk them through.
How you did it? Oh, okay.
It's just all up in my head.
Hmm.
Okay, so how I started going about it was document
Yeah.
whatever step I do. Like I access this site, or I do this, or I got this from there. Just put it down.
Interesting. So let me just analyze that. Then we just round up on this, right? So I think for any real growth to happen, right, as a designer, you need to evaluate yourself and say, okay, this is where I'm at, right? If it's in terms of communication or translating what you know, right, to and communicate it, you need to say, okay, this is where I'm at, right? And you need to, once you know this is where I'm at, you can now figure out and say, okay, this is what I now need to do to get to where I want or to, maybe effectively communicate. Just like you said about documenting, right? You understood that, okay, this is the challenge, right? What are the things or what's that possible thing I can do to augment this, right? To make it better or to improve on it, right? Then you started documenting, right? And I think that the documentation, helps a lot, right?
People underestimate the power of documentation.
A lot. Like you can figure out
And
some.
not just in design.
Yeah, I think in everything, right? Even working with companies, right? A company that has a proper documentation, when you're onboarding talents, right, they would easily catch what the company is all about. They'll catch it faster. They'll be able to run with the company faster rather than a company that doesn't have documentation, right? I've done stuff with different companies around data. And sometimes when you work with certain things and you ask, oh, do you have the data dictionary? And you're like, no. I'm like, what? What? How do you expect me to? Then I have to now do the work of trying to scramble around the different columns, the different database and tables, and begin to understand them. When if you had the documentation from the beginning, it would have been a lot easier for me and it won't take me time in the onboarding process. So I think people underestimate the power of documentation. That might be a conversation I'll look forward to having maybe some other time, but the power of documentation, right? It makes life easier, right? It even drives it
Might be
drives innovation.
stressful initially
It might be stressful
because
initially.
you have to disconnect from whatever you're doing and just
Write it down, put
put
it
it
down.
down, pen down your thoughts and all that. But in the long run, it's
It's
it
helpful.
still okay. I experienced it recently, November, December. Um, there was a project we finished at work, and we were supposed to deliver it. That project lasted for 3 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're building, go do stakeholders meeting, come back. Okay, it does not meet business goals. Okay, there's a new policy, government issued a new policy. Okay, we need to work around it and all that. The legal parts, blah blah. Blah. So it lasted for 3 years.
Hmm.
We we just did research. Okay, from our research, okay, database design or data-driven design. Okay, we did it research. Okay, this is what stakeholders, this is what the users, this is what blah 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 blah. Just came on did the implemented the design in the meeting.
Hmm.
Okay, from after the research and everything, like okay, jump on meeting, jump on calls. Okay, from the research or from meetings and all that with stakeholders, blah, 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 this is the new direction the product is taking. Like okay, let us start work. We don't really document all those research, all those.
Wow.
So it was November, December. We were trying to okay, let's transfer ownership. We went back as far back as the luck we had was most of all of what we did were done with digital tools,
Okay.
interviews, resources, and all that. That was the only hope we
We
had.
had.
So we just had to go back, go through um, Enjoy HQ, user testing. Um, what was the name of this? They do for for journey maps. Um, even down to Figma self, because you work on a file, it gets so large, you have to break it.
Yeah.
We're digging.
Hmm. But
File,
if you had done the documentation, it wouldn't have.
if you are probably documented, okay, this is this is the decision that has been taken on so date
Hmm.
that influenced this. Okay, this is where we branched out. We're going this route, and then new idea came in. We branched to this place. This is why. And I wrote down to interviews. Okay, on so date XYZ interview was conducted. This is the information we generated from those interviews and all that. We just okay, this interview that was done. Okay, get what we need to get from those interviews. Just leave them there on the cloud, and then we didn't really properly translate, or we
Yeah.
did all we could do for our consumption.
Hmm.
The documentation was for our consumption, not that we're going to transfer
Hmm.
and make it easy for other people to consume.
Hmm. Okay. Nice. So I just want you to do one last thing, right? You, for every person watching this, right? Maybe designer, developer, techie, creative, I believe your journey was a special one or is a special one as you keep having it. What can you just like 2 things or 3 things that you can just, whatever advice, aspire to perspire, never to retire. If you retire, don't maguire, you know.
Okay. I would say be deep rooted in the community.
Deep rooted. I think if there's anything that you've mentioned consistently, it's community.
Yeah. When I'm in community, it doesn't have to be say there's a meetup or you
Yeah,
guys go out. That is helpful
yeah.
where you get to meet people who do what you do and yeah, you can share some of the problems and they help.
Hmm.
Have people who will give you feedback,
Feedback.
not because they like you or because they want to see you grow
Interesting.
or they want to see you accomplish the best.
Like,
The feedback.
like as you're listening, give
Having
feedback.
have that and also understand that okay, this is a growth, it's a journey.
Yeah.
Just keep doing, keep going,
Yeah.
keep pushing.
Interesting. Right. There's this thing that I used to do then when I was younger. Right. I'm still young though. Then, if I don't have transport fare to go to a particular place, right, and I start trekking down, right, I just say, okay, this is where I'm going to. I can see where I'm going to from afar. I know that the moment I start walking, right, I'm not looking back. And if I get to a point and I look back, I'm like, man, I've come this far. I have to end this thing.
Just keep going,
I
just
have to
keep
just
going.
keep going, right? So as you start your journey, either in product design, UI, UX, or whatever space, right, in the tech or the creative space, just know that it's a journey, and there's a reason why it's called a journey, right? It has a starting point and it has a destination, right? So understand that you have to start before you get to the destination. You won't just translocate to the destination. It's a journey, right? It can be bumpy. It can be, zigzag, or it can be zigzag, whatever it is, right? But it's a journey, and there's a reason why it's called a journey. You should see your life growth as a journey. You should see your work as a journey. And once you see it as such, right, whatever challenge you encounter, you know that okay, this might be hard to say, but if you really want it, know that there's no going back, right? Because I don't want to say this to now say that, oh, the moment you get into design, there's no going back. Definitely, you can, you can transition into another field, right? But your life is a journey in that sense, right? And you can transition into whatever you want to transition into, right? So yeah, I made a promise to everyone listening to this, right, in the previous podcast that as you listen, as you like, as you share, as you subscribe, right? As you share this stuff with your community, right? I promise you that every session is always going to be better and impactful, right? And I'm going to stick to that promise, right? We'll keep sharing stories about people in the tech space and the creative space in Africa so that you, right, can learn and you can, be inspired by these stories from other people. I believe that you've been truly inspired from Godson's story, right? Thank you, Godson, once again for
Thanks for
joining
having
this
me.
podcast. Thank you. Right, thank you for listening.